All right.
There it is.
Hello and welcome to the NSA XY virtual lunch. Today is Friday, September 12th, 2014, and we're talking about email marketing. And it's in fact a follow-up to a previous NSA XY virtual lunch talking about email marketing, but today we're talking about A/B testing and some results of what happened after the last one. We're going to do some quick introductions here, and then we'll start going. Donna, you are up first. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do.
Hola, my name is Donna St. Louis.
What you found in your driveway?
Besides being a prehistoric porn videographer, I am the Mojo Mogul Maker.
Explain that. That's just like we're going down the wrong thing already. Lizards in the driveway.
There were lizards in the driveway getting busy, something I had never done before. The house that I moved in recently, for some reason, seems like Nat Geo because there's always some random animal stuff going on here. Well, a couple of days ago or yesterday, I saw two lizards getting busy in the driveway and thought the best thing to do was take a picture, post it on Facebook so everybody else can share in my prehistoric porn videography adventures.
Yeah.
So besides doing that part-time, my full-time gig is that I specifically speak on the science of confidence and the psychology of influence, or what I call Mojo. I help people discover their unique power to captivate, magnetize, and influence, which helps them increase sales, become leaders who create visions that people can't help but to follow, and I help women break through barriers of that so-called glass ceiling that they will soon find doesn't exist anywhere except for in their heads.
Alrighty then. Kim, you're up.
Perfect. Hi, I'm Kim Snyder, and I help people get more results, more influence with less time, and I'm happy to be on board.
Awesome, thanks. Scott, you're up.
Europe, my favorite continent. Sorry, I digress. I speak on several things, but basically I speak to associations and corporations, and I take them on a journey about when my children were 2 and 4 and got kidnapped and taken to the Middle East, and how I was able to get them back, and offer up the concepts of persistence equals success so that they can focus on what truly matters and achieve what they want. But I'm so much more. Just ask Sierra. And with that, Sierra, I'm sorry, that's Liz's job. Darn it.
That's all right, I'll forgive you.
Yeah, Scott is, untrustworthy, always going to try to take things over. My name is Sierra Madro, and I am a geek. I'm a technology evangelist, and I work with primarily small and medium business on technology adoption and making sure that the technology is used effectively within the organization. So I'm the geeky side of things. And as anyone who's been following the XY group knows, yes, my hair is now curly.
And we all like it. So I'm Liz Green, your host today. I am a heart attack survivor and a wellness speaker. I work with busy people to feel better, move more, stress less, that sort of thing. We're going to throw it to Sierra and Donna to talk about what you guys did in the last session and kind of get us up to speed, and then talk about the results.
So I set up a Google Hangout, and I let Donna talk.
Excellent.
And she agreed?
So funny. I set up a Google Hangout, Donna talked.
Excellent. All right, well done.
Good job with it. And the funny thing about that was I remember saying, I need someone to help out set up this Google Hangout, because really I am like Google Hangout impaired. And that's right. That is how I got Sierra roped in. She was like, okay, I got it. Go ahead, click here, whatever. Okay. So what happened during that call, the long and short of it, is that the way it came up was I was personally challenged with writing a cold call email. We ended up getting a bunch of people to jump on the call, and all of us together were going to go through a call. I think it was by Kim Katecki.
Yep.
And we were going to take that email and we were going to slice it and dice it, saute it, fillet it, and everything else that we could do, and try to create an email that we could use for basically sending out cold call emails.
And to just, I don't mean to interrupt, but just to sort of make sure that we give everybody credit, the original idea comes from Mark LeBlanc, who came to the Wisconsin chapter, and he's done a lot of chapters and gave us the idea. Kim sort of refined it for their business and moved it along, and then she did what was it? It was an NSA chat that has a transcript, and that's where you got it.
Yeah. There you go. See, I didn't know all that backstory. I just knew, hey, I got an email. So worked with, had that email, and then I don't even know, honestly, where this other one came from, but someone sent me, and I'd have to really go back and look, but someone sent me a link, and it was a link to someplace on the internet and said, have you seen this particular cold call email? And it wasn't anyone from NSA. It was like a separate person outside, like, I have friends. And anyway, they sent that one, and I ended up trying both. What happened was that second one, which is not anywhere on that original NSA XY Hangout at all, but the second one that I used when I did my A/B testing was really, really the one that caused magic to happen. And I think I've tried to share it with anyone who's ever asked me for it. Turns out, though, that David Newman and Ding happens. Avish.
Avish.
Yes, Avish both have one that's very similar. So obviously, I guess this is one that's kind of out there, but it works. It really works.
So can you give us a little review of what was in the email?
Yeah. Is there a place even that I can paste it? Can I put it over in group chat so you can see it? Because it's not even that big.
Yep.
Okay.
You can also share your screen if you have it up.
Oh, that'd be
Now
great.
you're just going way, way too far here. Hold on.
I know. Like I said, it's the tech side that comes out. I'm just always wanting attention.
Did you remember that I do prehistoric porn? Do you really want to see what's on my screen right now? Hold on.
Geckos and use your imagination.
There you
So
go.
while you're looking for that, let's say hi to Gordy.
Hey, Gordy.
Hello, how you doing?
Hey, Gordy.
Sorry,
How
I
are
had some
you?
technical difficulties.
With everything that we
Oh,
do, there's
long time no chat.
I know. Never get to talk to.
Gordy, tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Sure. I'll let Donna do the introduction. No, so I'm Gordy Buffton, and I help other young adults be more connected to themselves so they can fulfill their dreams. And my target audience used to be college students, and now, next to Donna's expertise, I'm going after high school parents and students to do a coaching program. And I drink Donna's Mojo Kool-Aid.
Can I ask you a question, Gordy? We've just met. I use a straw. Do you just drink it straight, or do you sip it?
Just
Oh, there it is.
I drink it
There
by
they
the
are.
gallon.
There
in
they
the
are.
bathtub if it's possible.
She knows a few things.
Oh, wait.
There
Yeah.
Oh,
they
is that
are.
Sarah who's sharing
There they are.
the
Yeah, I decided that we needed to get a visual on the prehistoric porn. So
I
there
think
you
that's important. I think that's important.
That is crazy.
That looks like foreplay.
Maybe it was. I don't know where they were in the process. Let's see. Tell me if I need to make this bigger for everyone to see it, but I'm sharing my...
Yes, please.
Tell me.
I even have on my bionic glasses, and I can barely see.
Okay, let's see. Tell me when.
That's better.
More? Less?
Better. One more.
One more? Okay.
Sure, why not?
I'm trying to make sure you can see it, but, still keep it in the screen.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you can make your screen wider because you got plenty of space on width.
Okay, how's that?
Good.
Okay. So here's the deal. Okay, so here are the salient points, the things that really that I noticed working. And just so you guys know, I can't see you, so if you raise your hand or wave, I won't see you because I'm looking at the screen. The first thing is the very top where it says, can you point me in the right direction? Even though I was the person that sent this out initially, putting the RE in caps, colon, and then can you point me in the right direction? Critical. Don't ask me why, I don't know, but it works. Second thing was not making it so formal. I found that the more formal ones that I did got way less hits than the ones that were a little bit more laid back. So instead of saying, Dear Felicia, or Hi Felicia, or just saying how I would naturally speak, hey, what's up, right? So I put, hey Felicia. And the third part that's really important is this very first line. So I would tell you the two most critical elements are this. Can you point me in the right direction? And this line. Not sure if you can help me, but thought you could possibly point me in the right direction. Critical. Those two things were critical. Then after that, I just asked the question, would you know who's responsible for this? Adding, this is my own little secret sauce that I have put in here, because this is kind of about my brand. And then going right into what my signature topic is and what I offer based on what they have. And then closing it out, which is this part right here at the bottom.
That's really smart.
So I would tell you that the subject is critical. That first, that first line. Again, if you're a person who says hi, or if you're a person if that's how you speak, like I'm a more laid back person, but if you're not like that, then it should really resonate with your voice. Mm-hmm. Now I'll tell you the other thing that I didn't realize until one of my clients actually helped me with this, one of my C-word coaching clients helped me with this, is see these 5 things here, you can't see yourself in the mirror, how to get your business from good to great, why you're really good but no one knows or cares, how to use your knowledge, those 5 elements. Take a note at how conversational they sound. They don't sound like they're these titles as much as they sound like stuff I'm going to talk about, again, in my own laid-back way. This was really, really, really important. It changed my rate. That's probably what took me from the 50%. And when I say open rate, I don't mean just open. I mean response to 70%. I could tell you those 5 things were just like, because I think it's just because of the conversational manner in which they're written, made a huge difference. Like any author would tell you should never use the word stuff, right? But right here, I put the word stuff, and it's cool. My audience totally gets it.
Right.
Right? So I think it's also about knowing who your market is. I know who my market is, and I know who I am, and this is how I would speak.
So Donna, for the people that you're sending these to, these are completely cold emails.
This is cold. These are ice cold. Ice cold. And to give you one of the bigger results is I sent one of these ice cold emails to Google. And I have a call with Google on September 26th to come and speak at their organization.
Nice.
So we just talked about that on our last meeting. So it's really a very cold email, but it's sent in such a warm way that the responses are very positive.
So did you try some different versions of this?
Yeah, I tried the original, which I'm gonna tell you that I looked for it and I don't even see it.
Is it the more watered down version?
Yeah, and it's the one that I think we actually had in the original conference. That was the original one that I tried, and I didn't get the responses. I probably got like 25%. This one gets me 50 to 70.
Well, and I think one of the things that you just said was knowing who those people are and what they want is key. So if you were using something that maybe was developed for somebody else's people,
right?
If it hadn't been refined to you quite yet, that makes sense to me that it wouldn't quite work the same way you would want it to.
Exactly, and then knowing also what the conference was about. So these 5 things here in the middle, those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that are offer, are different based on the conference. So for example, This conference specifically is a conference of people who have like their own business. So I know everybody in the audience they have their own business. I'm going to have a conversation with them from a sales perspective that's very different from what I would offer into, let's say, NABO, National Association of Women Business Owners. Those 5 things are going to change. So if you have a list of 1,000 people that you just want to send something to, this might not be the email for you unless, of course, you have the same 3 things that you're offering every single time, regardless of who the audience is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I will tell you that middle part, that 1 through 5 changes. And number 5, by the way, where it says stop being the best kept secret, how to use YouTube viewers and how to, it shouldn't say use, how to turn YouTube viewers into service buyers. That's not even something that I deliver. That's someone who works with me. They actually deliver that. And so if they ask me to do a keynote and that person does a breakout, this is the breakout. If they choose that one, that is their breakout. It's not mine. I don't do that at all. He has the credibility. He has 88,000 YouTube followers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that just kind of shows you that even in my emails, I am partnering with other people who have content that can be delivered as well. So even if it's not mine directly, if they don't pick me, they might pick something from this list that's perfect for someone else. That person just got a gig.
Quick follow-up, if I may.
Yep.
So when Donna and Sierra had this hangout, I was speaking, so I couldn't hang out, but I found out about it afterwards. Donna and I spoke, and I took the information that she had, and I tweaked it for me, and I have never had a success rate anywhere close to what I began to get. It absolutely works, which is one of the reasons I wanted to be on here today, because my rate, I don't know what the rate is. Is it, if you just send a cold call email, is it 5%? Is it, whatever it is, I started tracking mine and I was closer to 35 to 40%. That's huge giant. And then what I did is I began to customize it a little bit more, as Donna did, and it takes time, but I researched the different organizations, what they were doing, and I would put down 3 points, sometimes more, and it grew a little bit more. I've never had the door opened that much in my life for any sort of cold call. And I do agree, Donna, the subject line is extremely important, and that first line, and it's really what you and I talked about. What it did for me is it took all of these women and men that I was asking to do me a favor, and their guard went down. Their wall went down. I wasn't going, hey, I'm Scott, I can do this, I can do that. I was like, please, sir, may I have some more? Please, ma'am. And once you do that, they're like, I'd be happy to help. I was blown away by how effective it was. And follow-up, I've gotten 1 gig for sure because of it, and 2 more that are rock solid, almost done, and a bunch more I'm working on. And so because of this, I'm convinced. So there's a great testimonial. It works.
I would agree that subject line and the first line are so important, and I just did, even for not cold calls, but going back to past clients or past contacts that I admittedly have not paid attention to as well as I probably should have. My email, February is Heart Month, so that's a big push for me, and my email just said, is it too early? And the first line was, I don't mean to make your stress level any higher than it already is. I just want to know, is it too early to start talking about your event in February? If it is, I'll sit on my hands. If not, I'd love to talk to you. And that, I get all kinds of responses, and it's either been, a lot of people just write me back, and it's like, ha ha ha, that was really funny. Could we talk in October? Yes, we could.
Right, yeah. Great.
Absolutely. I will just pen you and let you know, I'll get back in touch with you. The response has been really good as opposed to just being ignored.
Yeah. What I would tell you was cool is the one with when I reached out to the person at Google was that the person I reached out to was not the right person. And he was so nice, and he said, actually, yeah, I think I do know who to point you to, blah, blah, blah. And he went, like, to work. It's like, he's really doing it. But it's happened 3 or 4 times where I haven't reached out to the right person, but it didn't matter because they're like, oh, yeah, I can help you. It's in my business what I call the transfer of power. I'm not coming in as all-powerful. I'm coming in as the person that needs help, and people just naturally like to help.
I have also had people respond back and say that they're not the right person. They would give me that person's name and email or copy that person in on the email. And I would just sit there as I'm reading thinking to myself, this shit does not happen. Yes, it does, and it is happening, and it's happening more. It works.
Don't you want to send back an email and go, seriously, you just gave me their name? Wow, that is freaking amazing.
Thank you.
And I have also done as a list. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's social phishing. It's the same thing that hackers do, but we're just doing it for benevolent purposes.
It's amazing what happens when you ask for something.
That's really true.
We had talked about the fact that people want to help, and they're okay with help, and partly it's how you approach them. If you approach them in a nice way, they're more apt to want to help. You're absolutely right, Corey. I agree.
What I really
what these people don't know is Donna has a gun under her desk, so that if they don't give her what she wants.
Whatever. I have not shot anyone in like 2 whole weeks.
Yeah. But then again, it is Florida.
Right. So there is a possibility.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't have my filter on.
What's really cool though is when the tweaking, like sitting there and tweaking the text to really match, quite honestly, my website, my voice, who I am, what I talk about. Really changing that, because at the end of the day, I'm saying, look, I'm going to tell you how to get people to eat out of your hands. Do you want to know that or not? And then, in kind of writing that text that way, just saying, you're not the typical conference, and I'm not delivering the typical program. Quite honestly, people who talk to me on the phone, once they get to know me, would expect me to say some craziness just like that. So I took all that craziness and put it on email for the world to see. So they know when they get on the phone, they're like, I'm going to call this woman. I think she's psycho. Put it on conference. We're going to record this. Great. Because that's what you're going to get on stage, too. So it's a consistency in the brand all the way across.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of the time, if you think about any kind of cold contact that we get as consumers, they're almost all really rigid and really formal. And if you're instantly breaking down that formality barrier and reaching out to someone as if that person is already a friend.
Yes.
That is initially going to change the entire tone of the relationship. You don't even have a relationship and you change the tone of the relationship by reaching out as a friend as opposed to reaching out as a business person.
Right. Yep. Because I figured how many people actually use the word kill and in their emails. Not that many, I don't think.
But I think
unless you're a bug exterminator.
Right, yeah, exactly. So I can tell you that the numbers have been great since one of the things that I'm on is the like I said, we talked about a little earlier, is the Sacred Six, which is a business accountability group. And there are so many income producing tasks that you're supposed to complete a week, and then we report back every week to talk about how we're doing in regards to those. Well, this is one of my major income producing tasks that I probably send about, I send at least 10 of these a week. And so for me, it's one of those things where we are every week doing a test, measure, verify, correct, test, measure, verify, correct. We're doing it every week. So there's definitely significant positive impacts to our business from doing it.
And I would imagine if as you go along and start creating more and more of these emails, you said that you customize those 5 points for each particular email, but you probably end up with almost like a menu to choose from in your back pocket, and you say, yeah, this one, this one, this one, and that one are going to be appropriate for this particular customer client contact.
Exactly.
And Donna does what I haven't done as well yet, and I need to, is she verifies. She looks at her tenant, she keeps score, and I keep a rough score. But what I really need to do is be more specific, because I have 3 different emails I send out. I know which one works the best, but I'm not really sure between the other 2 which one's third, and I should know that. And maybe not use it.
As an FYI, and this is, of course, the techie side of me coming out, if you use Google email in any way, I mean, if you're sending out these emails, these cold contacts with Google email, you should consider also using a free Google add-in called Streak. And Streak will allow you to get a reminder in 3 days, 5 days, 2 weeks, whatever, if that person hasn't contacted you back. So that's going to make it easier for you to do the analytics to find out if you're actually getting responses from various mail.
Oh, that's pretty hot.
Yeah.
Sarah always knows that good stuff.
Yeah, she's always got something good for us, didn't she?
Oh, yeah.
I started using Contactually as my contact management system. I really like it. You can send the emails right through there and set up a template. So I have a template for my "is it too early" email. I can adjust it for each person and then send it out. It'll tell me whether or not it's been opened, because it gets a little eyeball that opens if it's been looked at. But then it also remind me, you haven't contacted this person for 10 days, or you haven't been in contact. It's a nice, I'm really liking it.
Yeah. So are you using it as your CRM then?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it. I use Nutshell, and I've heard some people say great things about Contactually.
Yeah, I used Contactually for a while as well, but it was more overhead than I was willing to manage. I'm really lazy.
I have 2 gigs that I booked that I know for sure I wouldn't have had I not been paying attention. So it's worth it for me. I've used a bunch of different things. This is the one that makes sense to my brain. Not a linear thinker. So the idea that it sort of buckets things and you set up things to just happen automatically, and I don't necessarily have to be paying attention to a lot of things. I just need to do the tasks that it sets out for me every day.
Right.
What I've learned is my system of hodgepodge needs to go in one of these directions that you guys are speaking about, because I've gotten some gigs because I followed up. I'm sure I've lost some because of that, and I'm not doing anything that the 3 of you have mentioned. And Kim's so quiet, I don't even know, Oh, there she is.
No, I'm here. I just have you on mute. I'm listening. But I was actually considering Insightly. I was looking at Insightly and Contactually.
Ooh.
And I haven't pulled the trigger on either one of them yet.
I'm using Nutshell CRM, which I absolutely love, and mainly because I now have a person that does sales, so she can go in there.
Yeah, and I would say, Kim, having used Nutshell Contactually and Insightly, and in an attempt to actually find something that sticks. Insightly, I didn't think was that easy to use. I thought that it was way more overhead than I was willing to put up with. And Contactually was a lot better, for me at least, than Insightly was. And I'm actually liking Streak really well. Streak has a CRM aspect to it, and it also has a sales funnel aspect to it. But it lives entirely inside your email, which I personally live inside my email already. So it's really...
Just makes sense to hang out there, yeah.
So it's silly question. It's not using your Google. It's using your Google email account, not my Scott Lesnick account, not my AT&T account. It's using your Google email.
So yes, and my Sierra at sierramadro.com account is a Google email address. I use Google Apps for that email. So it's a custom email address, but it is still Google. It's Google Apps in the background. And then I get all the goodness of all these freebie and tweak apps that integrate in with Google by using Google as my email provider.
That's actually nice to know because I live in my Gmail as well, which is I'm using Google Apps. I love it. I wouldn't change a thing. So if I can find all of those tools that they have to plug in, that is the best. So I like that one, Sierra. Thank you.
I think the real key is finding one that works for you. That you know, I could like one thing, and Donna might like another thing, and Sierra might not like another thing. You just got to find the one that works for you.
Yep.
And sometimes it takes a little trial and error before you find it.
Yeah.
A lot trial and error. Yeah.
So moving into kind of both an app recommendation, but it's appropriate for this particular conversation. Finding the people to send those emails to. There's a tool that integrates in with Google Email and a few others called Rapportive. And Rapportive, Rapportive, like rapport, but it's Rapportive.
Got it.
And Rapportive allows you, if you're in Google Email, for instance, and you get an email from somebody, it shows you that person's LinkedIn profile. It shows you tweets that they've done recently. It allows you to connect with that person on LinkedIn kind of automatically. You get a bunch of information about that person. But what's cool is you can also use Rapportive to find out if you're guessing at an email address and you want to find out if that's actually a valid email address, you can put it into Rapportive and just find out if it pops up.
Oh my God, the Rapportive is like a hacker's dream. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah. So I have done that before where I'm like, you know, I would be willing to bet, just knowing this company, that this person's email address is going to be firstname.lastname@company.com. And I just type it into the to line and wait for Rapportive to pull it up. And Rapportive will pull it up. It's like, it's got a little picture and it says, oh yes, this person's the senior VP of XYZ. And it's kind of brilliant.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm getting that just for the email part to it. Just for the email addresses.
I used that one actually, but I was just looking. It said it was discontinued in June of this year, but I'm looking. I wonder if they just changed their link because I loved it. Yeah, it would list out everything about that person.
And, you know, on the Nutshell CRM and on actually several CRMs, LinkedIn actually stopped them from being able to bring in the LinkedIn profile, so they cut that API off for a lot of companies.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, and there are so many open letters to LinkedIn. If you go and look even just for like a sample Nutshell's open letter to LinkedIn, you'll see, because they cut it off for everybody, I think, except for Salesforce, if I remember correctly. And maybe one other.
Rapportive still has that link for the simple fact that LinkedIn bought Rapportive.
Oh. That would do it.
Yes, it would.
Yeah. So Rapportive is a LinkedIn product now.
Gotcha.
Well, and contextually, it'll bring in the LinkedIn profile. So if I accept a connection on LinkedIn, it'll show up in my contextually automatically, and then ask me what bucket it belongs in, which is
that's nice.
Very handy.
Yep.
Awesome.
Does anybody else have suggestions about where to find the people to send these brilliant emails?
Oh, that's work.
That's work? Is that what you just said?
That's work, yes. That is, it is work. I mean, if it's an association, I'm obviously looking for the program manager or somebody who's in education. If it's private, quite honestly, I go to, let's say it's private and it's sales, then I go to the vice president of sales. If it's private and it's women, I go to whoever the chief diversity officer is.
Cool.
What I've been doing is I go on their websites if I'm looking to, obviously I want to present at their national conference. If that's not an option yet and they make you, you know, do a couple of state conferences first, then I go on their websites and I find out who the dudette or dudes are that are in charge, or the ones that look close to being in charge. Usually I'll send it right to the president too, and copy in another person, either blank carbon copy or just put it right in there, and I get responses almost all the time for associations. They either direct me or they say, I'm the right person, send me what you have, and what are your fees? Now my question would be, and I'm glad I've got you guys here, when they ask me, what are your fees, because they want to know that right away, I've been telling them, I just need 2 minutes to chat with you, pretty please, with sugar on top, so I can find out what you need, how I can serve you, and blah, blah, blah. A lot of times they will, sometimes they won't. Do you just give them your fees? I don't know what they need exactly, so it's hard to.
I have what I call a speaker book, and my fees are listed in my speaker book, as well as ways for associations to buy down that fee.
Yep.
But I have been very kind of like, this is basically what I'm doing, and I'm not really going to change it too much, unless of course the target market is right, and then I'll talk to them. I will say, based on who your target market is, we might have a different conversation. And I'll tell you why I kind of did that, just so you'll know. I have found that in working with, in doing the whole fee dance thing, that even if I got it, right, the follow-on work was limited, extremely limited, or if they call me back next year, they wanted it at the same fee. Mm-hmm. Right? So here it is, let's say, just for argument's sake, my fee is $2,000, and they're like, well, can you do it for $500? So now I end up doing 2 engagements for $500, which is only $1,000, right? Because I could have made $4,000. In that case, I need to spend more time looking for other clients. Mm-hmm. That client is for somebody else. That's just where I've gotten to now.
If toss up for others also on this, if they ask you for your price in an email, if they ask you what your fee is, do you give it to them on the spot because they've asked?
I've been giving them a range, but I'm also implementing the Lori Guest model, so that is the range that I'm going to give them in a proposal. So I love what she has to say, and I'm just thinking we need to do a Google Hangout virtual lunch with Lori. That would be
yes.
But her, her baseline, her whole system is to drive people to the middle choice. So you have sort of a lower and a higher in the middle, and the middle is where you want them to be. But the bottom has to be good enough that you're willing to back out of the driveway for it.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
And that's that check. It's like you can't put the bottom of your range so low that you're not willing to do it.
Right.
You feel bad about it.
Yeah, and I think what I've done in the past, if someone's pretty firm about that, is kind of like Elis was saying, I give a range and then say, I'll preface that by saying, it depends on the exact services and requirements of your association, but a general range would be from X to Y, depending on exactly how long I'm speaking, where, and the details around the engagement.
Right, and how many goodies you're going to include.
Yeah.
No doubt the most difficult part of our job, at least of mine, is landing the speaking engagement. Everything else isn't easy, but it's a lot more easy than actually getting somebody to go, okay, here's a bunch of money for you to come in. That for me is, I'm doing it and it works, but it's still the hardest part of the job for me.
Mm-hmm. So in reference to Eliz's earlier comment, where do you find the names? Over in the group chat, I put in a link to an association directory that I
Which
found.
has been bookmarked for me.
So, and
Ooh.
here's what I'll do. I'll bring that up. Screen share. Screen share. Let's bring that up. So this actually has everything listed out by different types of, types
No
of.
way.
But you can click on one and it'll give you a list of different types of organizations, and then if you click on these, it takes you to that particular association's homepage and information about that association. So they've got thousands.
Is this free, Sierra?
Oh, that's free.
Holy guacamole.
I am
Weddles.com.
queen of free. I love free stuff.
Well,
Yeah, so it's weddles.com/associations.
That's just brilliant.
What was it? Sorry.
It's in the group chat there. It's Weddles, WEDDLES.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
.com/associations. Wow.
I'm
Wow.
gonna put it on the Sacred Six so we can have it there.
Thanks.
so that's another place to go look for associations that are appropriate to your specialty and niche.
Now, if you want to do something else that's interesting, Meg found this out. So they have these huge association books that you can purchase, but they cost $1,500,000 when they're brand new. However, when they're a year old, they're no good to pick your library around the country, and they will sell them to you for a song to get them off of their shelves if you want that entire big, thick catalog. So it's something we've done once. It's been mildly successful, but it's another way. It's not free, but it's it's really dirt cheap compared to what you would pay to try to get one new.
Yeah, there's another, depending on if you're looking at business as well, one of the areas that I've had luck, at least locally, I assume they do this in other metropolitan areas, but here in Portland, I'm in Portland, Oregon, the Portland Business Journal has what they call the Book of Lists. They publish every year, and that's a list of local companies. Because face it, speaking locally is even better than speaking somewhere else. Local companies that are grouped into specific niches, and it's just lists of the companies, their contact information, and usually demographic information about that company as well. So that's a pretty handy way to find local organizations. And if you were going somewhere else, you could look at the big book of lists for somewhere else, I suppose.
Smart.
Yeah, the business journals, I know that there are hundreds of different business journal geographies around the U.S., and they're a good source of information about companies within that geography.
Very smart. All right. Any questions from the floor?
Nope.
See what a good job you've done?
This is good.
We're all sitting here right now thinking, like, what can we do different with that email to make more money?
Oh, I'm deeply in the Weedles thing going,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all over Weedles.
Right there. That's something.
Rapportive.
Mm-hmm.
Rapportive. Hey, Kim.
Hey, Scott.
Where do you live?
Las Vegas.
That's right. Okay, now I remember. Oh, that's why I'm hearing the ding, ding, ding outside your window. Sierra, Zyrtec, Allegra, Claritin, take your choice. Come on. You can't. It's allergies. You know, that's.
I know. But the thing is, doesn't last for that long. It's like a one-day thing, and Claritin never works in a day.
No.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so so you'll make it through.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I feel fine. It's just a weepy eye.
Mm.
Well, we'll weep right along with you. No, we won't.
The information was just so good.
You know, I'm just thinking
It was enough to make me tear up just a little bit.
When are we done recording?
Wow, really smooth segue. Like that was butter. That was so.
Oh, come on, we're all friends here. You're the one who had the geckos.
Humping geckos.
Gecko humping porn on your.
We're calling that. We're titling that lizard love, baby.
Lizard love.
Instead of muskrat love.
And the reason that he's asking is usually after we turn off the broadcast, it gets even more fun. So if you're watching this and you haven't joined us live at any point...
it sucks for you because you should have been online.
That's right. And even though this is hosted by NSA XY, any NSA member in good standing is welcome to join us live, and certainly lots of people are welcome to watch it as it's happening, and we do record it. So yes, Scott, I am going to end the recording, and y'all are welcome to stay and chat a while and talk about what happens after we turn off the recording. But thank you for joining us for this edition of the NSA XY Virtual Lunch, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.
It's about to go down.